Cool. Okay, so it's 4 o'clock here in London. I will kick things off as more people join. Feel free to say hello, introduce yourselves. This is going to be really informal, so feel free interrupt me at any point, ask questions. To be honest, I'm a lot more comfortable when I'm answering someone's question than when I'm just doing a straight up presentation. So don't stand on ceremony. Don't think you're being annoying if you like start asking questions and saying stuff. It'll probably make this go better. With that in mind, this is the first of hopefully many Convertri Q&A webinars. The goal of them is to just get to know everyone a bit better. I love the Facebook group. I love the interaction we've got going there. I love how available like you guys are to us and we are to you guys. But there's something very different about being on a live call where you can type stuff in and I can just answer it straight away and just get a better feel for what people like, what people don't like. Kind of do a demo and find out like which bits are easy to understand, which bits are hard to understand. Hopefully, I think we'll all get a lot out of it. There's no, I've had several people ask, what we're selling. The answer is nothing. Like obviously, we'd love you to upgrade to the pro plan or the agency plan at some point, but that's not the purpose of these calls. The purpose of these calls is just to make the product better, get a better understanding of who you guys are and what you want. So with that in mind, just type anything you want, introduce yourselves, ask questions, ask questions about the tool, or about where we're going with the product, anything you kind of want to know about, I'm happy to answer. And feel free to interrupt. I'm going to do a couple of demos today, show you some of the stuff we've got coming up, and we'll take it from there. So, hey, Larry, good to see you. So with that in mind, the first, tech check. I haven't actually had someone to confirm this. Can you just type something into your browser, confirm you can see my screen? You should see the Convertri logo and a banner that says Q&A webinar. Jim says there, yes. Larry says yes. Pete says yes. Hey, Pete. Helene says yeah. Excellent. Okay, that's hey, Gabriella. Cool. Okay, so it looks like we're good on the screen test. I'm a bit paranoid about tech. With these things, I tend to mess it up. Right, okay. Let's start off. This is a demo kindly prepared for me by Neil. So what I'm demoing today is how to make an image gallery. So in and of itself, like you wouldn't make just a page of this, although this one is. Obviously, you'd include this. It's particularly good for e-commerce sites where you've got like multiple images of the product. Just any way you want to show things off. It's quite a good client demo. Hey, George. So, George is asking about special characters, accented characters, and so on. I'm hoping to have that fixed. We're going to do quite a big marketing campaign towards the end of October, and I'm hoping to have that fixed by then. We'd like to appeal to a more international audience at that point. But that said, it is really hard to make Convertri work with that. So as with all of the estimates that I give you on these things, please don't be offended. Like I'm not brushing you off. I genuinely don't know the answer. Cool. Okay, so image gallery. This is, as I say, just a really cool client demo. It's good for e-commerce sites. Basically, you've all seen these, but I'll do the demo anyway. You've got big image and then little thumbnail versions of the images, such that when you click on them, the bigger images turns into the smaller one that you've clicked on. It's not immediately obvious how you create that with Convertri, so I'm going to do a bit of a demo. I'm going to add an image to this. I won't build the whole thing from scratch. It's a bit boring to watch, but I'll add a new image to this one to give you an idea of how it works, how you can do it for yourself. Hey, Mike. You can definitely build a website from scratch. Some of the things like menus remain harder to set up than others. I mean, we have done for Convertri.com itself. I'm sure you guys have seen this, but I'll open it up anyway. We have done a slightly less funnily, slightly more websitey thing where we've got these ones, and with the ability to clone elements to another page, or like clone lumps of elements to another page. It's certainly a lot faster to do. The only annoyance remains that if you want to change this top section, you will need to go into every page and edit it manually. So I certainly wouldn't recommend you try and build like a a 100-page website, that's going to go very badly for you. But if you're just trying to do this sort of like 6-page sales site as part of a funnel, yeah, it's pretty easy to do on Convertri now. So yeah, back to the demo. So this is what it looks like on a published page. Then the key thing for doing this in Convertri is using triggers and behaviors. So that's this star panel here, which I'll open up. So when we select this image here, basically what we're telling it to do, actually, sorry, I'll just show you one quick thing. So if you look under here, when I move these images down, you'll see that we've got the 3 images stacked on top of each other. So if you were going to add another one, we'd add the image on top, set them as hidden, and then show them. So I'm just going to undo back through that. There we go. Then when we select one of these images and open up the triggers and behaviors ones, you'll see that in the element triggers, that's basically when this thing happens to the element, we want this thing to happen somewhere else on the page. So you'll see each of these images has got a name. So this one's Dubrovnik. I won't go through all of them, but each of the 3 images has got a name, and then they're matched up. So in this case, on this first one, when we click on it, we want to fade out Railroad and Dubrovnik. That's the other 2 images. And we want to show Tuscany. And then on this one, we do exactly the same thing, but we fade out these 2, fade in Dubrovnik. And on this one, we fade out these 2 and fade in Railroad. So exactly the same principle on all of these. Fade out the ones you don't want to show and fade in the one you do. So if we were to add another one to the page, drag an image in, see what example images we've got. I've got the nice strawberries one. I like this image. This is one of my favorite demo ones. So while that loads there, make it full width, make it fill out there, give it a name. So this is strawberries. Then we need another copy of it because we need the small thumbnail version. And one of the coolest parts about Convertri is that you can chuck these things on the page, and even though it's the same giant image, it doesn't matter. We can make a small thumbnail version really, really cheaply and easily, and then let Convertri do the optimization for us. So now we've got this strawberry element. So first of all, we need to set the others to have a fade out trigger. So when we click on this one, we also need to make sure to fade out strawberries. And this one, when we click on this one, we want to fade out strawberries. And finally, the third one, you've seen the pattern by now, I'm sure. We want to fade out strawberries. And then this final image, when we open triggers and behaviors, we now need to set up the other 3. So when it's clicked, we fade out Tuscany. When it's clicked, we fade out Railroad. And when it's clicked, we fade out Dubrovnik. And then finally, when it's clicked, we want to fade in strawberries. So to just go over that again, the whole point is that when we click on one of these images, we fade out all of the ones that don't match it and fade in the single one that does. Now, before I show that working, I'm just going to show you a quick thing for laying out these nice and neatly. So if we turn on the grid, we can chuck this over to the side and then match it up like this. Now we've got these 3 images, or 4 images. This one will just take a moment to download. Yeah, so Jim's just made a really good point in the chat box that it's okay for a small gallery. There's quite a lot of work. This is something that we're planning to roll out like a built-in element for. This is kind of a stopgap, show you how to do it in the meantime, since we've had, this is one of the main things that we've had people ask how to do. I thought I'd show you how to do it manually. But yeah, it's totally a bit of a faff. Oh, sorry, George, I missed one of your questions. So George is asking where you can access training for the latest version. So we release every Tuesday. So it's not like there's a kind of Convertri 1 and Convertri 2. There's new stuff every week. If you go to help.convertri.com, you will find all of our training videos sorted. You can search them now. It works a lot better. So you should be able to find kind of showing you how to use any given part of it. And then if we haven't covered something, email support@convertri.com or hop in the Facebook group, and we can record more videos. They're quick and easy to do. We frequently get people ask us for stuff, and we're just like, oh yeah, we should totally have done a video for that, and we can record them, no problem. So yeah, in case anyone missed it, I'm just going to go over that again. So triggers and behaviors. So when we click on this one, we're fading out everything except the matching one for this image. Same here. Yeah, this will fade in Dubrovnik and fade out the others. This will fade in Railroad and fade out the others, and so forth. So then I will just do a publish and show you the end result. I'm sure you guys can imagine it, but always nice to see these things. So, oh, I should have, that's my bad. I should have set the, we want to set strawberries to start hidden. That way, only this first image on the left will be shown. So just republish that one. So that's an important setting to be aware of in the properties panel here. This start hidden checkbox, that will make whatever you've got selected, that will make it start invisible. That way it will only show up when you click, you've set up a click trigger, a mouse over trigger, something that makes it appear like we want here. So you see it matches this first image. Then when we click this, we fade through the next one. And disappointing moment to load there oh, there we go, that's fine. You see this nice gallery effect, clicking through things. Cool. So Philippe has just asked about entering an RGB value for text. So this is one of two things we really screwed up with Convertri. The first one being undo redo. On big pages, undo redo is really quite slow, and fixing it's going to be awkward. And the other one is being able to type in fact, I can show you. So this is some text. And ideally, when I select this text like this, I want to be able to go here and I want to be able to click into this box like you can with the panel to set the RGB value, but you can't because most web browsers don't support multiple selection well, so we can't select this text and select this text at the same time. It wouldn't know which text we're trying to update. Whereas when you're selecting a panel to set the background color, like so when we do that and go background color, we can type into here because there's no other text selected on the page. But when we've got this text selected, we can't type into this box because it just wouldn't know how to work. And that we are going to fix that. It's a lot of work for an unfortunately not a huge result. So for now, you need to set the color on a panel and then come in here and select it from the recently used ones if you want to get a specific RGB value for text. And it's a royal pain, and I do apologize we got that wrong. Jim's asking what the best browser is for Convertri. The best browser, and by which I mean the only browser it really works in, is Chrome. Convertri uses some quite cutting edge technology that's only available in Chrome. And when we were originally making it, we had to make some design trade-offs. Did we want to go for, were we willing to do without some of the advanced features, or did we want to be just Chrome only? And we opted for Chrome only because we feel it's a small price to pay to have some of that more advanced functionality that we wanted to offer. And apologies if it's not your favorite browser. That's the choice we made. Helene's asking about entering image height on the screen instead of using guides and guessing. Yes, absolutely. So let me just get rid of this text box. If we selected this one here, so stuff will automatically snap to other lines on the page. So in this case, as you can see here, when I drag this one up and down, you'll see it snaps to match the height of the other one. So that's very good. That will cover a multitude of sins. However, when you're trying to size the first one, you'll often find it may be easier to kind of like drag it up and down. It may be easier to go into the properties panel, and then as well as being able to set the position, you can set the width and the height specifically. So if you watch, I can like manually push it up and down and so on. Larry's asking about save as. So at the moment, our plan is to stick with, instead of using like save as to like create a separate copy of the page, we're sticking with clone to use the drop down menu on a page card. I will just let me do a save on this, and I'll come out and show you what I'm talking about, although I presume you probably know. So on the card list. So I'm unsure why Neil called it Vitello Test. Doesn't matter. So you can click on clone to get a copy of the page exactly like you would doing save as in Word. But that makes our lives a lot easier for some of the stuff we do behind the scenes, because we've got to manage what stuff's published, what stuff's not, all of that kind of stuff, rather than it just being a save file. So hence going for the clone option rather than the save as option. Jim's asking about page view stats when using FB ads. So yeah, basically, if you use any analytics software, any like tracking stuff, any advertising stuff, they will all give you different numbers. There's a million technical reasons for it. I'll illustrate a couple of examples. The best one being these are all reliant on a pixel or something in the browser firing, and it's very, very easy on dodgy internet connections or just poor setups that like one pixel will fire and the other one won't, or one of them will end up firing twice. Some of the services. So, for example, one of the main differences you may see is like some services will dedupe stuff based on if they come from the same IP address. If you get 2 clicks from the same IP, some services will only show that as 1 click. Some services will show that as 2. This is a long-winded way of saying stats across different things will always be different. It doesn't really matter which one you use. Just try to only make comparisons between numbers from the same service. It won't mean much to compare Facebook click stats to Convertri click stats, even though it totally sounds like it should be the same thing. And Jim's follow-up question, do I feel pretty confident in Convertri analytics? Yeah, absolutely. We've spent a metric, words I shouldn't say on a live webinar, ton of money on getting, it's a service called Snowplow running in real time, which to set up for yourselves, unless you're particularly technical, will cost you about $5,000 a month. That's how powerful the underlying engine is for this. We are very, very confident in this. We will be exposing more and more of the data, but the raw data we're capturing, I'm really confident in. Philippe's asking about making multiple opt-in boxes for different lists in the same page. That's not something we support at the moment. You can have if you've got a pro account and you're doing API integrations, you can set up multiple forms on the page, but they all have to submit to the same lists. That's that comes down to how our form system works. So we've got like the form sits on the page. It's not a form element. That allows way greater control of how the forms are styled and laid out, but at the cost of not being able to submit two different lists. George is asking about how you can include non-horizontal dividers. When you say non-horizontal, do you mean just a vertical divider, or do you mean like at a fancy angle? So if you just mean vertical, we have a vertical divider, line, blah, like so. If you're talking about like fancy angles, stuff like that, you pretty much have to use an image at the moment if you wanted to like a diagonal line somewhere. Hey, Leon. Oh, slightly longer question. 2 seconds, guys. Just let me have a read. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Leon says that he's using a CRM called Office VP, and the HTML import on the form isn't working. So he's having to use MailChimp. So hi, Leon. First of all, sorry about that. Can you send an example form to support@convertri.com? I'm 99% of the time with these things, there's just one like tiny discrepancy that you can't do anything about, but we can fix really quickly when we've got an example form. That's not a CRM I've come across before, but probably with an example in our hands, we can probably fix it for you pretty quickly. Yeah, okay, so if you're talking about like fancy angles, then pretty much you have to use an image. At some point, I'd really like to support rotating of elements. Since we have the whole freeform thing going on, it will be quite cool. So when you got like this selected, I'm not sure why you do it on a gallery, but this is the page I've got open in front of me. So if you imagine there'd be like another little handle about sort of near the top right of the page that you click on, very similar to Word. And when you click and hold on that, you'd be able to like rotate the image around. I think that'd be really cool. But making that work in Chrome in the editor is pretty easy. Making that work across like all of the kind of browsers that people can publish to has turned out to be really, really hard, particularly because, as you may have noticed, a lot of Convertri stuff uses this concept of containment. So when something is inside something else, I'll do a quick demo just with the images I've got here. So if you see, sorry, just get rid of this divider. So if you see image 2 is inside image 1. So when I drag image 1, image 2 comes with it. It's how everything is collected together. That works great with these like rectangular boxes. If we allow rotation, that concept of containment becomes like really hard and confusing. What does it mean for a box that's kind of at a 45-degree angle to be contained? Like, do we draw a full bounding box around it? Are we going to try and calculate the exact rotation of it? Those things become much, much harder. Love to support it, though. I think it'd be very cool. So timeline for better mobile editing, question from Jim. Certainly by our kind of our big marketing event at the end of October, we've got some fairly big plans for improved mobile editing, with kind of two sides to it. So the making mobile better basically breaks down into two parts. The first is making the automatic mobile generation work better. So when you swap to the mobile version of the page, you get a better result just out of the box. We've got a bunch of ideas for improvements there, which are mostly about just having more white space in there. Because at the moment, everything's really like crunched together, and probably some automatic text sizing. So at the moment, it's pretty obvious when you make a big 72-point font headline for a desktop page. No one wants a 72-point headline on their mobile. You just have to scroll it for about 4 days just to get to the end of the headline. So applying some of that the stuff that everyone does to every page just automatically will mean you have to do less yourself. Then the second part of it is just general improvements to the mobile editing experience, which we're taking user feedback on that as well, to see like what is it people are doing lots of that's just currently a pain to have to do. The reason I've spent more time talking about that first one is that's what we've had the most feedback about, is people would like just the initial mobilization to work quicker, work better. We're hoping once we do some of those improvements, then we start to hear more discussion on like what it is people want to be able to do in the mobile editor. Sorry, I did warn you at the start of this call, I tend to waffle. I hope that answered your question. If I didn't, do feel free to ask more. Oh, hey, Nobby. Nobby's saying he's got removed from the marketing list, that hasn't received any of the just talking about Convertri ones. So we run two completely separate mailing lists. They're even in two separate services. They can't get confused. We use SendLane for marketing emails. They come from the Convertri propaganda department. And so that's marketing things. That's when we run affiliate promos. That's when we're trying to sell you stuff. And then there's the happiness department, which all other communication comes from. That's like when we give out free stuff, when we're announcing new features, anything like that comes, as I say, separate autoresponder, separate mailing list, separate, so you can pick and choose which things you want. If you haven't had any of those happiness emails, send a quick email to support@convertri.com. We'll add you to that list. And yeah, you can absolutely just have those and not the propaganda ones. If you don't want to be marketed to, we don't want to market to you. That's not what we're about. Leon's asking about turning off double opt-in for MailChimp. Yes, Convertri can, you can choose single opt-in if you use the MailChimp API. To use any of the APIs, you do need a pro account on Convertri. But if you have that, then you can do API integrations with services like MailChimp that only let you do single opt-in via the API. Jim's asking about the sticky footer functionality. Yeah, I'm reasonably confident that we're going to have that within the next 2 weeks. We had a quick chat about it the other day, and it's a bit harder than we thought. But I'm still hoping that comes out soon. It's not terribly difficult, and it's come up quite a few times. So I'd love to do it. So Larry's asked, is there any easy way to move a panel with everything included in that panel to another part of the page? So I presume you mean moving, not just dragging it, because obviously we can load up stuff into here like this, and then when we drag wow, sorry, my net connection's really naff today. Do apologise. These images do load quicker normally, I promise. There we go. So when we drag this back one, you see they come with it. I presume what you're referring to is making it kind of jump much lower down the page. And the answer to that is, at the moment, no. You can move this one, but if you move that via setting a new X and Y position, the stuff that's in it won't come with it. We've got a bunch of ideas for fixing this. So the main thing I really want to do is have a tree editor control. So if you think of Convertri like a kind of folder structure on your computer, where when something's like this image is inside this image, when that happens, it's shown lower down the tree and indented. And then what I really want you to be able to do is drag stuff up and down. So you're kind of laying out the page as well as manipulating that. And that will hopefully let us do things like moving these big blocks of stuff around the page. But yeah, no at the moment, but it's definitely on our list of things I'd love to sort out. Hey, Pete's saying kudos for separating marketing and product updates. Yeah, absolutely. It's a credit to Neil for thinking of it. I think mostly he just wanted to send you emails from the propaganda department, because that's the kind of guy he is. But yeah, no, it's like, we only tell you about like really interesting third-party products that work well with Convertri. They're run by people that usually people we've met in person, like talk to about their stuff. They're not just spam you with stuff, affiliate promos. But if you don't want to hear from us about that, we don't want to talk to you about that. Like we always want to talk to you about Convertri, but it's kind of up to you on those things. Oh, Jim, I love you. I've been waiting for somebody to ask about that. It's funny you should mention video players. It's actually what I've spent most of my weekend writing code on. So what I really want, what I wanted 12 months ago when we launched, 18 months ago when we first started this project, was I really wanted a video player, like a video element. So instead of here where we've got one for YouTube and we've got one for video, and they both work perfectly fine on the page together, but what they don't do is like work together. Like there's not a video element that understands YouTube and understands MP4s and understands Vimeo and just kind of does the right thing for you. You have to tell it what you're doing. What I really want is just a single video element that you drag onto the page, you give it a URL, and that URL could be direct to an MP4 you've got hosted somewhere, could be a YouTube URL, could be a Vimeo URL, and then it just like, it knows what to do. It gives you a player if you want it. It does auto playing, looping, like all of that good stuff, and without you having to import third-party players as well. As you can imagine from my description, that's a lot of work. But I've been hacking away at this, and I think I've got a demo just about working. So it seems to work really well on desktop now, as you can see. So what you can't see here is this is exactly the same video player, but configured with different video sources. So the only difference in these three videos, other than depending on the state of my testing, like I might have set looping on one and not on the others, is this first one is the MP4 you've all probably seen. It's hosted somewhere on the Convertri CDN. This one is, the middle one is from a YouTube URL, and the right-hand one has been given a Vimeo URL, or ID in this case. But it doesn't really know any more than that. And then we're able to size it, deal with it, play it, and so on. Which I'm pretty happy with on desktop. I really think that's what we're going for. This should work well for doing just about any of the other stuff we want. So you should be able to like toggle controls on and off. You should be able to toggle looping on and off, toggle auto playing on and off, and it will just kind of do the right thing. And again, regardless of the source of the video. Where this is currently going wrong is on mobile, where iOS and Android both work very differently. First of all, so iOS doesn't give you as much control as Android does, and we've got all kinds of weird issues on Android phones at the moment. For example, when you this page is hosted locally on my computer, so if you've got your phone, I can't show it to you at the moment. But in our testing, for example, when you try and play, at the moment, MP4 and YouTube work well. And when you try and play Vimeo, it zooms in and shows you like a tiny section zoomed right in from wherever you've clicked on the video, which, as you know, it doesn't take a genius to, that's just not what you want. So there's still a lot of work to go on it, but I'm quite happy that we're making really good progress. And then my hope is the end result of this is just a single video element that you can throw any of those sources at, and it will just know how to work with it for you. Should make things a lot quicker and easier. So thanks for asking about that, Jim. I'm glad someone did. So Jeff's asked if the graph at the top of the sites page is all pages, or if you can select which page to graph. So let me just come back to the sites page. So as you go into these things, the data in here is going to be really junky. This is our test account. So honestly, I'm amazed. This one's got our bonus pages in, so there will be some traffic. Cool, but don't read anything into these stats. They're just demo like test accounts. So this one on the sites page, that's basically like all page views across your whole account. We'll use bonus because that seems to have a load of click data. When you click into a site, into a domain, then the click data you're seeing is only for that site, for that domain. when you click into a specific funnel, we haven't promoted Convertify in ages, so it's going to have no page views. But what you're seeing at the top here, so tiny, like two clicks. So what you're seeing here is the data just for this funnel. And currently you can, the conversion details will show you conversions and visitors in there for that specific page. So you can kind of see it at whatever level you want to. Hey, Peter, good to have you on the call. Sorry, for anyone who doesn't, Peter Buick is I've known him since I first started the company two companies before Convertri. It was in one of my original mastermind groups. So good to have you on the call, Peter. So asking if we'll support more funnel features and possibly some sort of menu system. So on funnel features, kind of what are you after? We're a funnel builder. We'll definitely have more funnel features as time goes on. It's probably better to talk about specifics. And menu system, probably not. Our focus is as a funnel builder, and while like small like mini sites with a few pages, like we've done for Convertri, are like work well with that. We're not setting up. We're not trying to be WordPress. If you want to build a site with a blog section and dozens of pages, we're a poor fit for that. You will be able to do it a lot quicker and easier with another tool. I see. Jim sent me a link to what he's. Am I okay to open this link live on the webinar, Jim? Or did you just send that to me, or are you sharing that with the group? I don't want to share private work you've done. Awesome. So this is a site that Jim has made for one of his clients, and he says that this client is the one paying for his agency license already. So cool. So forgive the slow loading video. This is that's awesome. So these videos are both from YouTube and Vimeo, are they, Jim? Fantastic. So there we go. So it's certainly possible via the custom HTML element in Convertri to achieve these things. What I'm hoping to do for you guys is make it kind of just drag and drop simple, so you don't have to know like extra stuff to get that done. Oh, sorry, Leon. Leon says that new lists he's added to MailChimp have stopped showing up in the list in Convertri. That sounds like absolutely a bug in Convertri. If you drop an email to support@convertri.com, I'll make sure one of the developers looks at it tomorrow during the support section. Sorry about that. That's almost certainly something we've done. Okay, Jim's just warned me that my audio breaks up a bit, particularly when I'm doing work on the page, and probably when there's videos playing on there as well. Yeah, my net connection's been kind of up and down all morning. I was getting a bit worried about doing this webinar, so sorry about that. I'll try not to do too many other things when I'm talking. So I've. Leon's asking if we're recording the webinar. The answer is yes. I hit the record button. I have a checkered past with that button, and I don't honestly know what can go wrong. It's one button, you hit it, and as far as I'm concerned, I should get a recording out the other end. I've had somewhat hit and miss results with this, So as long as GoToWebinar does record it, we're absolutely doing that. We'll make it available. This isn't some like sales pitchy, there'll be no recording. You must get on the live call. We're happy to, we love you guys to come onto the live calls. I like doing Q&A, but we also want everyone to see it. So we will record it. We will send it out to the whole list as long as GoToWebinar doesn't screw it up. Great question, Jim. So Jim's asking about the funnels in here. In fact, sorry, the arrows in the funnel builder. So let me just open up a demo funnel. Oh wow, my net connection's slow today. This is painful. So when you do stuff like that and draw an arrow between two pages. So we're going to be doing more and more with this functionality in the future. At the moment, what we use it for is making recommendations. So when you have a pro or an agency account and you're using API integrations, whereby you can set the redirect page after something has happened. So it's like, add this lead to my mailing list, and then you want something to happen after that, which is usually redirecting it somewhere else. And we use that for making recommendations in a drop down to say, you've linked up these arrows. Are these the places you want to send people? But we're deliberately keeping it quite like open and freeform, with the intention being that you shouldn't be like, we don't want to lock you down like some of the other funnel builders out there. It's like you can only have a single place to send people. You can't have choices, you can't have options. We want to leave it more freeform. So at the moment, and probably for some time, these arrows remain that they will make recommendations like you've created this arrow, so you probably want this to happen, but we're not going to force it based on drawing that arrow. Yeah, that's an excellent suggestion, Leon. So Leon says he's found an unintended use of Convertri, and that's the ability to show and present sales funnel diagrams to clients. The only problem is if there's a page in the funnel that's not part of Convertri, he can't display it. It'd be nice to be able to like show it in Convertri rather than having to do a screen capture and edit it. Yeah, absolutely. This is something we'd love to do. So if you imagine, obviously these are just completely unconnected pages you're seeing here, mostly from demos we've done. But if you imagine they are like connected funnels, it's very common to send people off to a non-Convertri page. For example, if you use PayPal as your payment processor, that doesn't happen on a Convertri page. That's just a link. You send them to PayPal, they pay, and then they come back to you. That's a very common flow. We do tons of business that way, but nothing appears in this diagram to show that's what's going on. So what we want to give you is like a selection of like other service elements that you can drag onto this to represent those. So you can go, it's like, right, this is where they go to PayPal, or this is where they go like out on a treasure hunt. Like it doesn't really matter. Just give you those options to show in the diagram to help you visualize what's going on. I think that'd be really cool. And yeah, we're absolutely going to do that. So Peter's asking if there's any features to tease you about stage. Well, and to be honest, like the main feature I am teasing today is the Convertri Unity player, as I'm calling it, because I'm great at marketing. No, but Neil will name it something else when he's done. This is the one I'm particularly excited about, a video player that's just like really smart and knows what to do regardless of the link you give it. That's the one I'm really excited with. And the other thing I'm going to mention today that we've been keeping under wraps but working quite hard on is we're actually redoing the editor UI for the first time in a year. We feel like we've learned quite a lot in the last year about like things people are using Convertri for, the way it works, and also just the amount of functionality it has now compared to a year ago. It's got cluttered. It's like if you look at the screen, there's all of these icons at the top. There's all of these on the left. There's no labels on them. It's really, really hard to, particularly for new users, to orient themselves. Like you see the screen and it's so hard to know what you want to be doing. And in reality, there's like 4 buttons that people use all the time, and the rest you hardly touch at all. I can't even remember the last time I configured default text styles on a page, and like I'm the owner of this product, and this has the same like level in the hierarchy as all of this other functionality, like viewing the published version and publishing, which I use just like all day, every day, and it has the same like status in the hierarchy. We've done tons of work to rework this, and we've also contracted a superb designer who's done some just super concept pieces for it, which hopefully I'll be able to show you some of next time, but I can't show you them today. So yeah, there's the things you're being teased about, Peter. Yeah, absolutely. 20% of the buttons, 80% of the time. Heck, I'd go so far as to say it's maybe like 5% of the buttons, 95% of the time. There are, like, as I say, Convertri is my baby. I love it. I use it. Most days I either like develop stuff for the product or use the product. And there are still things, particularly in this left-hand menu, that I have to check by mouse overing the tooltips to go, which is that one again? Which suggests they're really not being used that often. Cool. Questions seem to have slowed up. So I have a quick question for you guys. Has this been useful? Have you enjoyed the format? And don't be afraid to be critical of me either. Like I'm aware I'm not the world's greatest webinar presenter. I talk really quickly. I waffle on. So any feedback you've got for me about the format of this, whether you like the fact that I was doing a demo and any time a question came in, I went off to the question rather than finishing the demo. Was that good? Was that interactive, or was that annoying? What would you like to see covered in future ones of these? Like the hope is that we're going to do 2 or 3 of these a month moving forwards to get this going. That might prove a bit too often. We might slow it down. That's the initial goal. So getting an idea of what you'd love to see covered would be fantastic. So Larry's asking, is there an easy way to copy an element from one funnel, paste it into another funnel? So yes. So if you just, you say element, so I presume you mean a thing on a page. If you just mean just copying a whole page into another funnel, then you can use the clone and then move to on the card itself. If you mean a specific element, then this button I've highlighted here on the left that says clone element to another page, that will, when you select that, that lets you select what site to send it to, what funnel, what page, and where you want it to appear in there. So I could send that to anywhere else and when I say send to, it will make a copy of to send there. So, and it will copy anything inside it as well. So you don't have to do it one at a time if you've created a chunk of stuff. So that's how we recommend doing. If you want to do menus, that's the best way to do it. Make it once and then copy it to each of the other pages. Nobby says he's a bit lost because he hasn't used Convertri much. So possibly like a very basic getting started one would be quite good for you then, Nobby. Is that what you'd like? Jim's asking about place to buy and sell premium templates where members could contribute it into the store. Yeah, I really like that idea. I don't see it happening this side of our sort of like big marketing event at the end of October. So towards the end of the year, maybe the start of the next one, I'd like to get some kind of marketplace going. We've got a ton of really talented people using Convertri now. And we're starting to see more requests in the group for, I'd like a freelancer to work for me, or, who's got pages I can copy. And while, the Template Club part of the Pro subscription, it's really good. We offer a good selection. There's only so many templates we can make ourselves. I think it'd be really good to open it up to a wider community. Oh, thanks, Larry. Larry says it was excellent and really helpful. I'm really glad. Thank you. Cool. Hey, so Delo's saying, yeah, he'd like me to start and finish a demo before going off and answering a question. I think I'll probably try to do that for the next one, just for a comparison, if nothing else. So I'll move. I'll try and hide the questions box because I know I'm incapable of ignoring a question once I've seen it. So what I'll probably do is I'll do the demo, I'll hide the question and answer box, and then I'll open it up afterwards because the demos are like to be quite short. They're only going to be sort of 10 minutes each. So I can probably ignore the questions during that, do the demo, and then come back to it. Yeah, absolutely. So Jim says he learns a lot of stuff just from reviewing the templates we've made. There's quite a lot to the software. That's another major selling point for a sort of marketplace store type thing. Is that we've got some people doing like really creative things, and some of which don't. Particularly one of our designers does some really cool like interactive templates. Some of which we've put in the pro subscription. Some of which they're quite specific, and they'd be fantastic to learn from, but they're not particularly generally applicable. So it'd be lovely to make those available. So the few people that want to grab them and like learn from them, mess with them, they can, but it's not a focus. That's quite a big selling point of it for me. Sorry, Larry, you say had a problem with you. Sorry, do you mean the Usign integration we've got you had a problem with? Or sorry, I think I must have missed another message based on what you've just said. Yeah, cool idea. So yeah, I think we'll do a like very from scratch type webinar. I think that would be good. Hey Dave, so Dave's asking when the replay will be available and where to find it. So when is probably tomorrow. As I say, like I've had like very mixed bag experience with GoToWebinar. When it works, you seem to get it within half an hour and you can just like upload it to YouTube and jobs are good. And other times not so good. So all being well, we get the recording. We'll probably edit out like some of the just like initial thing when I was doing the tech test, but then just make it available as is to everyone. And we'll publish it on a Convertri page because that's who we are. And you should get an email about it from the happiness department, and we'll post about it in the Facebook group. So you should be able to find it there. And if you haven't seen it within sort of like 48, 72 hours, please feel free to email support@convertri.com because you're probably just not on the update list or something. Yeah. The amount of updates we do makes tutorials really hard for us. We find we have to strike quite a balance between we want to do getting started tutorials, but then like new functionality comes along so quickly. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to slow down the functionality we add. I love that. That's a big part of who we are. We're a technology company, a product company first and foremost. But it would be it does make some of those tutorials quite hard to do because it feels like we do them and then 2 weeks later we're like, oh, we want to redo them, and we can't spend the time making like complicated like from scratch webinar demos on a weekly basis because they're really quite time consuming to prepare. I see. Awesome. So, sorry, I have context for your question now. Thanks, Larry. So Mike's asking if Convertri's good for running native ads that go to a Convertri advertorial type of landing page. Really good for that stuff. You'll find when you run, I mean, to be honest, any kind of ads, page load speed is just so important because like people click ads and they're really not that engaged. Like you've curiosity hooked them or you've done something to get their attention, and like you're really not going to keep that attention for very long. So having that page load super quick is fantastic. So whether it's an advertorial page, a squeeze, regardless of what you're sending them to, pretty much Convertri is good for it, because you want a single landing page with a single message, whether it's an article explaining what you're about, an opt-in page giving out a freebie, any of those kind of add to page things. Convertri is fantastic for. Yeah, sorry, Nobby. Yeah, so Nobby's from Eastern Australia. So yeah, you guys kind of got the raw end of this deal, I'm afraid. We'll keep advertising them like sort of a week in advance, like we did for this one, or at least a few days. I'll try and move them around time wise a bit, but somebody's always going to get a raw deal with this, and apologies for that. So Jeff's noted that it can be, using a laptop like trackpad, it can be difficult to get precision placement. So there's two options for that. First of all, Jeff, when you've got something selected, if you use the cursor keys, I don't know why I'm pointing to the cursor keys on my keyboard, you can't see that. The cursor keys on your keyboard, when you tap them, they move the element 1 pixel at a time, which can be really useful for like those precision lineups you're trying to do. Also, if you open the properties panel, then you can set the position specifically. So like if here I'm at 11 pixels and maybe I wanted it at 10, so I can set it exactly and specifically in here. And then you can do that for one, and then the other elements will snap, which makes that just so much easier to do fiddly things, particularly when you're using a trackpad. Dave's asking if Vitello is part of Convertri. So Vitello is completely third-party software. We did an affiliate promotion for it a few weeks ago. Neil set this page up for me. I have no idea why this page is called Vitello Test. I presume it was something to do with something he was setting up, and he duplicated the page. Other than the fact it's really cool video hosting, seems to work really well. We love it. No, it's nothing to do with this. We're just one of their affiliate partners, and we happen to have called this page Vitello Test. And Josh Router's getting free advertising off us today. Sorry for the confusion. So Mike's asking what people use Convertri for the most. So sales funnels to sell their own products has got to be right up there. We see a lot of, obviously I can't go into too many specifics because nobody wants other people to know what it is they're using the tool for, while they want to know what everyone else is. So I'll try and talk in generalities. We see a lot of paid ad traffic, particularly like Facebook ads, very popular, kind of like native content, like in article or the stuff you see at the bottom traffic, because all of those things benefit massively from the fast page load speed time. So we get a lot of people who do even mailing list traffic. We get a lot of people in digital marketing run their mailing list traffic, particularly for bonus pages for affiliate promos. They use Convertri just to make, they've made their own template for a bonus page, and then they duplicate that for each promotion they're going to run, because it's just super quick to edit it. So it's, quite a waffly answer. The answer is lots of stuff. What we don't see, or what we try to discourage because it's just that much harder, is like big complicated websites. We're not set up to be a shopping cart where somebody browses around and adds 15 items and then check it out. We're good for, and we see tons of people setting up basically anything where it's a page with a single purpose. So whether that's like an advertorial style article where you want them to read the message and then like opt in or go away, or like straight up squeeze pages for that, a sales page, any of those things Convertri is fantastic for. Hey Stuart, we will be recording a replay as long as GoToWebinar does. You'll get an email with the location in your email and in the Facebook group at some point, hopefully within the next day or so. As I say, as long as GoToWebinar delivers it for us. Cool. Questions seem to be slowing up now. Has anyone got anything else they'd like to know about? Excellent. Then I will finish up today with a final thing. We're considering a Convertri rebrand. We've had some new logo concepts developed. I really like the Convertri bunny. We might stay there. We might try something new. I'd love to get input from you guys about what you like and what you don't like. So here are we ran a 99 designs contest, and here are sort of the top four. Obviously, the first number one being the existing one. I'd love to know your thoughts. If nothing else, could you type like your favorite number into the chat box, or like put an order for them? If you've got any specific comments, I'd love to hear them. What do you like? What don't you like? Would do you want to see the bunny stay because you associate it with the brand? Would something new be cool? Because we're in digital marketing, people like new stuff. Tell me what you like. Tell me what you don't like. Oh, okay. So even as I introduced this thing about the logos, I see several questions about other things that come in. I'll do the logo bit, and then I'll come back to answer those questions. If I miss them, my apologies. I'm not ignoring you. Oh, lots of variety from people. Excellent. I think people vaguely favouring number 4. They were getting lots of votes for number 1 as well. So when you look at number 4, what does it make you think of? So fast, well-oiled machine. Four's confusing. What do you find confusing about it, Joshua? I'm not saying you're wrong. Just very very interested to. So far we've only had kind of the internal teams input. So this is fantastic for us. Fast, fun, performance, tech bunny, like one for the tagline. Oh, sorry, I should have taken the tagline out. You can presume the tagline would be like either used or not, depending on the context. The tagline's no more part of that first one than it is for the other 3. Sorry, that's an unfair comparison. Two and 3 very boring. Quick identification. 4 looks fast. Maybe another colour in 4 to make it stand out. Ah, I see. So it's not amazingly clear it's a rabbit, and also like I feel obliged to clear something up here. So the original context of the Convertri bunny is like the idea was it was a hare because hares are really fast. I'm not sure that's ever come across. Like everyone calls it the rabbit or the bunny, and but it's still a rabbit running really fast, which is cool, right? Um, but yeah, the idea was that it was a hare originally. Um, I think that got lost in translation somewhere. Stick with blue text and logo. 2 colors in 4 would be awesome. Cool. Thanks very much for the feedback, guys. This is fantastic. So, what I'm hearing from this is, it's not that nobody there's a few people talking about 2 and 3, but not much. Most people seem to be going 1 and 4. Put the gear color of 2 in the gear of 4. What? Thanks, Max. So the orange as an orange on the gear, possibly in 4. Lawrence, when you say 1 tells you what you get, do you mean the logo or do you mean the tagline? Because as I said, the tagline I shouldn't have put on here. You can assume that tagline appears beneath all of the Convertri logos. That's a really unfair comparison here. Sorry. Helene's asking if we tried like a V option, like for a funnel. We've tried a ton of different ways to visualize a funnel, and yeah, to put it politely, they didn't really work. I think the best ones we came up with looked like some kind of cleaning product. Sorry, Helene, I'm not mocking your suggestion. I'm mocking our attempts at it. Yeah, trying to visualize a funnel in a stylized graphic turns out to not work amazingly well. Make the eye in 4 a small coloured C. Oh, well, the eye of the bunny, do you mean, Dave? Yeah, cool. That could be quite. So I'd quite like to get something slightly more Convertri into it if we do it. Awesome. Being Convertri seems like it could look like a funnel. So I was thinking, so it's actually like in the Convertri name itself. We haven't tried that. I'll get a designer to mock that up to, as I say, like the funnels just as a separate glyph did not work. Like making the V into it, we haven't tried. I'll give that a go. Awesome. Thanks, Pete. So what 1 and 4, like so 4 a little bit better possibly. Okay, so I've been trying when I asked about what 4 makes you think of before. I was trying to find a like non-biasing leading way to ask a question. I'll ask the more specific one now. Number 4 has a cog in it. Does that cog make you think of ClickFunnels? Because clearly that's the elephant in this room that we're trying to avoid. Peter says, rather than a cog, I'd use hollow squares to signify funnels. Is that in number 4? And sorry, what do you mean by? Well, sorry, I know what you mean by hollow squares, but like sort of 4, like in the background. I'm a bit unsure what you mean, Peter. Mike says, how about the word Convertri with a C like half a cog and the T shaped like the lightning bolt? That's something we haven't tried. Like I drew out kind of cogs. I quite like the idea of cogs for sort of the O and the C, and I thought they could be interacting. That certainly didn't work, particularly because like it's the open bit of the C that's next to the O, and obviously cogs you want to see like turning against each other. But I certainly haven't tried just the C or like trying to get the lightning bolt into the T. So we'll give that a go. Okay. Everyone that's just said they're not familiar with ClickFunnels, you have just made my day. Thank you very much. So ClickFunnels is our like biggest competitor, and they've been around quite a lot longer than us, and they have cogs in their logo. That's why I was asking about it. But everyone that's heard of us and not them, I love you all to bits. Everyone that says they think it's like ClickFunnels, that you can go away now. I'm just kidding, by the way. I really appreciate your feedback. Thank you. Yeah, cool. So like machine and automation is what we're going for with the cog if we do it. Yeah, thanks, Peter. Thanks, Jeff. So connected squares as a way to like show pages. That's something we haven't tried yet. We'll give that a go. Oh, I love that. Like, Dave suggests having the rabbit darting into the V like a funnel or a rabbit hole. No idea how well that will work as a logo. I'm totally going to get my animator to see if he can make something like that. Yeah, I agree, Jim. Like a cog as like being an association with settings is definitely a concern we've got, because it's basically if the cog makes you think automation, that's cool. If the cog makes you think settings, I suppose that could be like configurable, but I'm pretty sure settings means like boring or effort or something that we're probably not going for. Awesome. Okay, so majority of the group love the bunny. People split between 1 and 4, and yeah, definitely might. So the ClickFunnels cogs are definitely very stylistically different to what we've got, but it's we had some concern of it. Yeah, Peter. Even I am calling it a bunny. I've given up calling it a hare ages ago. It's the Convertri bunny. I've made my peace with that. Cool. So Pete says it would be like a our cogs are different enough to stand on their own. Cool, awesome. But based on this feedback, so it's one for continued brand value, 4 if we do fancy something new. But yeah, there you go, Detlef. Has the longer ears of a hare. I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty sure you're the first person to say that to me since the designer who originally made it. Yeah, nice, Elaine. I agree. So like a flow of images, like a flow of connected things. That's definitely a meme to consider. Never hear the word hair in North America. Honestly, you don't really hear the word hair in England either. Great question, Dave. So Dave's just asked, does Convertri mean something? Or how did you come up with Convertri? So I came up with Convertri as a like stopgap thing. Like I wrote an original version of Convertri 4 years ago. It was a very like sort of ClickFunnels-esque editor, just that very blocky style. The project didn't get very far. I joined up with a friend of mine to work on a different startup. The domain just kind of sat there. It was literally, it was like conversions. It was just a Web 2.0 sounding name. It was never really intended for prime time. Then when we started Convertri properly 18 months ago, Neil and I spent an inhuman amount of time like brainstorming names, coming up with stuff. We had everything from like ancient historical architects and interesting figures, and we registered all kinds of interesting ones, like based on painters' names. Like we've got domain name Picassia and all kinds of things. And in the end, Convertri just like tested better than any of them. And I know that's marketing, and like the only way to know is to test, but it just felt like such a giant waste of time that we spent all that time coming up with new interesting names to end up with the stopgap thing that I'd registered like 4 years ago. So that's the origin of Convertri, and shows what an amazing marketer I am. Oh, I like that, Jim. So we could have the bunny for speed and the turtle for stability. That's I'd love to do a little like sort of like Web 2.0 animation explainer video with that. That would be really cool. Yeah, Larry says Convertri must be a new star name because many products are playing off of it. They totally are. I won't mention any names, although one's definitely already featured very briefly. We've had several people with very, very similar names to ours appear in the space. But I got there first with Convertri. Cool, right. So I missed some questions when we started on this logo stuff. I'm going to scroll back through the Q&A list and try and find them. If I miss your question, I apologize. Please do just re-ask it. Don't wait on me to find it. So Peter's asking about Stripe and checkout templates. So with Stripe, you make your own checkout form. You can make it look pretty much however you like. Obviously, you have to use our credit card element. So that's for entering the credit card number, the expiry date, and the CVV, the security code. That's a single element, and kind of you can control the styling, but it's a little more limited than the others, which are freeform. But any of the other details you want to capture and have stored against the purchaser, so you can capture their name, their email, whatever else you want, and then those details are all sent to Stripe. We don't see your credit card number, also the prospect's credit card number. We don't store any of that. All of that is sent straight to Stripe, and then we get a Stripe token that we use to make charges against it. Jim says thanks for all the support in the Facebook group. You're very welcome. Like I love this bit. This is probably beating hard tech problems and like this stuff, interacting with people that are actually using our product and loving it. They are my two favorite things in all the world. I pretty much never get tired of this stuff, so I'm very happy to spend that time. Mike, sorry, I've just found your thing about quiz pages. So you can, if you want to do like full-on quizzes and capture the answers they've given each step, you'll either need kind of third-party quiz type software, or at some point we'll probably set up a way to do that kind of like ask a question, go to a new page type thing. If you want to kind of mock that up in the meantime, you can probably use a layer for each question you want to ask, but the number of like the input elements Convertri has is quite limited there. So we currently don't have radio buttons or drop downs, which are the like two most prominent quiz inputs. So if you wanted to do the kind of quiz where you don't actually care what they say, you just want to make them feel like they've been asked questions, you can totally do that in Convertri really easily. If you want to capture their answers, at the moment you need some kind of third-party software for that because of the lack of inputs we've got. I love that. Change the tortoise and hare fable. Get the best of both. I love the idea of them just both like skipping across the finish line together. That would be cool. Hey Stefan, yep. We're recording this, and as long as GoToWebinar doesn't mess up, we'll upload it to YouTube and make it available. You'll get an email from the happiness department probably tomorrow, maybe Tuesday, and we'll post about it in the Facebook group. The plan is to record all of these. Jim's asking if we're going to add those other inputs. Yeah, those definitely are on the list. The reason we haven't done radio buttons yet is because the primary use in a funnel builder for them is like selecting which variant of a product you want. So like making the element is super easy. Making it do what you want it to, that's going to be a load of work for us. But it's definitely high on the list of things to do, because that's a very popular thing to have, particularly in e-commerce funnels, is to have on a single page. It's not like buy this report and then have a bump sale to this other report. It's, I'm selling you widgets. Do you want 1, 3, or 5? And you save money the more you buy. It's a very, very common e-commerce funnel thing to do, which makes that high on our list. The drop-down menus are less likely to be linked to that kind of functionality, but getting them to style right across all the different browsers is a royal pain. So yes, we are working on it, but providing that style control is proving to be a pain for us. Stefan asks if you can use UpViral with Convertri. Yeah, that I haven't tested it in a little while, but I know Wilco personally. He's the guy behind UpViral. I tested it really well early on, and it works great with Convertri. Should work fine now, and if it doesn't, it's something we definitely want to. So do ping us an email if you have any problems. Should work fine. Timeline for affiliate system in Convertri should be a couple of months. I really want, when we do our big sort of marketing event towards the end of October, I'd really like to be doing that using our own affiliate system, not using a third-party one. I really want to be less reliant on third parties for that kind of stuff. So there is some small chance, like full disclosure, we might have the affiliate system done enough for us to use it by October and not done enough to make generally available. But the hope is it will be just generally available and we are using our own functionality. Jeff's asking about drop-down lists and sending it to an autoresponder. So you can't currently make a drop-down list. We're working on the element type for it. As I say, the only hard part with drop-down lists is styling of them. That's such a pain to make work really well, particularly across browsers. When we do, yes, you'll absolutely be able to capture the value into your autoresponder. Hey DS, yeah, it's absolutely recorded. Don't worry that you've just tuned in. Feel free to ask questions now if you want them. But generally, yes, we've recorded it, and as long as GoToWebinar doesn't mess up, we will send it out to everyone in the next couple of days. Yeah, the affiliate system should be pretty awesome. I'm pretty excited not to have to rely on third parties for it, and making it available to everyone. I think is a pretty key part of a funnel builder, because traffic's such an interesting, like, hard part of the game, and affiliate marketing is probably the thing I understand best. I'm not an idiot when it comes to paid traffic, but I don't have that fundamental understanding that I do of, like, recruiting affiliates and getting them to promote an offer. That's the thing I'm really good at, and I think I can be most useful to you guys. We'll get the affiliate program in there, and I can help share the things I know how to do. iframe updates. Sorry, I'm not sure what you mean there, Jim. Can you remind me? Mike's asking if you can add like quiz stuff to a Convertri page. So just about anything will work if you put it in the custom HTML element in Convertri. And if it doesn't, do email us support@convertri.com, because we do our best to be compatible with absolutely anything you could want to put on your page. It's we're only 99% successful. There's always something that doesn't work, but anything like quiz templates and whatnot that you want to get onto your page, it should work fine. Jeff says he needs a customer to be able to set the title of one of his books. Can I suggest a way to do that? When you do you mean they like you're surveying them to ask like what they would like to see? Or sorry, can you elaborate a bit, please, Jeff? Oh, right, yes. So the question about the iframe stuff we did. So we're integrated with, well, partially integrated. There's some other bits we want to do, but so some services like Product Dino, which we've promoted recently, they let you do. So they let you use like your pages, and then they protect them as a membership site, and they do that by putting the pages into an iframe. Previously, Convertri pages didn't work with that, because it would, like, the first page would work fine, but when you click any link on the page, that would take you out of the iframe, and so you'd lose the protection and everything else. What the update does when you turn on that integration is it keeps them inside the iframe when they click on the link, so they remain inside the protected area of your membership. Just by toggling that, so it doesn't keep people on the page as such. What it does is it keeps people. It doesn't open the links in the full browser. It opens them in the iframe, which looks like the whole browser. That's how it works. But it keeps them inside that protected environment, so it works as a membership site if you want to make your membership pages that way. I see, Jeff. Okay, so so the question there was they can register for a free book, and he needs to know which to send them. So at the moment, that's quite awkward with Convertri, because we have a fixed set of fields. We haven't set up custom fields yet. That's something else that's really high on the list, and I want to get done. At which point you'll be able to like capture any arbitrary data you want. In this case, you could say, what's the name of the book you want, or something like that, which will be particularly good when we have radio buttons, because you'll be able to offer them a choice rather than getting them to type it in. But at the moment, you will need to. That will be difficult to do via Convertri. The best thing you could do is forward them to a Google form, maybe, and ask them for their email again, and say which book do you want there, and offer them the choice. That's not a good experience. That's about the best I can think of at the moment. you might be better off. Using a custom HTML element to embed a form straight off your autoresponder if they support like a selection for the opt-in. Like you lose the ability to style via Convertri, but that will work better for your use case. So Jim's asking about the autoresponder. So we're definitely still working on it. It's not top of the list. We're definitely planning. So a lot the stuff you've heard me talk about today, including the affiliate stuff, definitely want to take care of that first. And that's purely a man hours thing. It's I want an autoresponder almost as much as I want the other stuff, but with software, there's absolutely no point having 50% of a whole bunch of stuff. It's really important we have like a releasable set of features for each thing before we move on to the next. And we want our own affiliate program more than we want our own autoresponder at the moment. Hence, we're going in that direction. Well, I'm glad that matches your priorities. That's always convenient when things work out. God, I wish GoToWebinar would scroll the box instead of me having to do it. I have to keep dragging it down. Yes, we're currently listing in JVZoo for our affiliate program, which it's all right. Like it's quite good for it did us well 12 months ago when we did our initial launch, but their fees are pretty high. The system's quite clunky. There's a lot of like custom stuff you can't really do with it, and out in the sort of internet marketing niche, as it were, everyone knows who they are, and it's just go to JVZoo. What doesn't work so well is people from outside that space. When you send them to a third-party affiliate system, they're like, "No, I don't want to promote JVZoo. I want to promote you." And I'm bored of answering that question, which is why we're building our own system, pretty much. Oh, awesome! Thanks, Elaine. Can you probably easiest is to just send it to our support desk. If you can send the logo idea to support@convertri.com, that'll reach me just about as quick as anything else, I think. Unless you mean you want me to look at it live on this call, in which case maybe stick it in Dropbox and send me a link, and I can just open it in the browser. Yep, George. Convertri is compatible with ActiveCampaign. We've got an API integration with them. Works really well. Cool. Thanks for coming on, Detlef. It's great to see you. From Germany. Have a great rest of the weekend. Yeah, I know what you mean, Jim. There's I don't want to sound disparaging of JVZoo. It's a very good system. It's not perfect. It's not great. I'd really like to have our own system. We've had a number of people say that stuff just doesn't seem to work quite right, and we'd like to do something about that. Yeah. Oh, thank you very much for being with us today, Nobby. So it's Nobby's from Australia, and it is 1 a.m., probably half one, something like that now where he is. Thanks very much for getting up and spending time with us. I really appreciate it. Yes, George. So API integrations are pro version only. Basically, I mean, I would love to make everything available in the bottom plan, but ultimately we've got to have something. We've got to have some reason to upgrade to the pro and agency versions, because you guys need us to stay in business as much as we want to stay in business, and at some point we have to sell you something. 2:30 a.m. Wow, rather you than me. Yes, I don't think you can send a file just directly through this chat. You can as I say, if you've got Dropbox, you can put it in there, and then it'll give you a like file share link. But as I say, otherwise, email it to support@convertri.com, and I'll grab it when we're done here. Thank you. Perfect. Thank you. Hey, Josh. Yep. There's we're recording it, and we'll upload it to YouTube as long as GoToWebinar doesn't mess up, which it has done a couple of times for us in the past. As long as we get a recording, there'll be a replay up tomorrow or Tuesday, and sent out to the. Hopefully, all being well, it'll be mentioned in the weekly update email Tuesday morning. I would imagine, like, quite a likely thing. As I say, technology dependent. We have no reason not to record this and release a replay. As much as we love you guys coming on live, it's not amazingly convenient for some people. Hopefully the interaction, like getting your specific questions answered, is a good enough reason to show up live and not just rely on the replays, because these would be pretty boring if it was just me talking to myself, which honestly, that's kind of what it feels like when I'm sat here just talking at my screen. Awesome. Okay, guys, we've been going over 90 minutes now, and my throat's starting to wear out. So I hope you enjoyed that. And as I say, recording will be up hopefully in the next couple of days. If you've got any suggestions, please hop in the Facebook group and tell us. Email support@convertri.com. We're going to make this a semi-regular thing. I want to do more demos. I want to do more engagement like this. So please feel free to send those in. And don't feel you have to wait for these to ask questions as well. Do keep posting them in the Facebook group. We're happy to hear from you guys. Any last minute questions before I finish up for the day? Oh, awesome! Thanks so much for the lovely feedback, Mike, Jim, Peter, Helene. That's a great suggestion, Stuart. I'm going to, I should totally just put like a photo or something on top of my monitor, so I'm at least talking to a person in inverted commas, rather than, at the moment, I'm just staring at the Q&A chat box, vaguely trying to picture you all while I'm talking. A face would be a really good idea. Awesome. Thanks also to you guys. For coming up on a Sunday. I wasn't really sure how well that would go. We seem to get a nice turnout and some good interaction going. I won't say that out loud, Jim. Awesome. Okay, seriously, thank you very much, everyone. It's been absolutely fantastic to do this. I look forward to doing it again in the future. And thanks for the logo feedback. Thanks for all the questions. It's great to have you guys. You all have yourself a great Sunday. Thank you very much.